Blake, I would say you're walking in the Lions Den here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, but I guess that's what Arkansas is going into this weekend. They're coming off a series loss to Texas A&M. What's kind of the feeling right now with Jay Johnson's ball club there in Alex Box in Baton Rouge?
Well, Ty, call me David from the Bible, because if I'm walking into a Lions Den, then here we go, baby. I would say this. Look, Ty, there's a couple of things about Arkansas coming into the quote-unquote Tigers den here. Rain's going to be a factor. We saw it last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, against Tennessee, where the crowd wasn't as electric. So I do think, Ty, that Arkansas could have a little bit of an advantage in this instance. I don't know if the box is going to be the box in that, like it was a couple of weekends ago, because if people are sitting there through weather delays, I don't know if they're going to stick around. So it could be a little light, but here's the thing. Jay Johnson has one thing about him. He's been a master at these weather track delays. So let's see if he can pull one off yet again. I would tell Arkansas fans, just knowing what I know about Mr. Johnson, you better get ready for early morning. And what I mean by that is that, that Tennessee series, guys, Ty, you know this, we do a post-game show. I was doing a show at 2:30 a.m., right? So, I mean, they will play way into the night, way into the morning. So get your popcorn ready, drink you some bourbon if you're down here in the booth, and get ready to go. Because it's going to be, I do, Ty, in all seriousness, anticipate that's probably what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at the forecast a little bit. There's forecasts on Friday, Saturday, I think Sunday as well. So I'm anticipating at least a change of some sort. Hopefully it's not that bad. In that clip, Blake, that we just played in your intro, you heard Dave Van Horn talking about the possibility of anyone catching Texas. Arkansas sits at second, standalone. LSU's tied at third right now. Do you see either the Tigers or the Razorbacks, the winner of this series, being able to catch Texas, depending on what happens for them against the Florida Gators, and then when they go to Oklahoma and then Sooner Country next weekend?
I 100% think that they could. Now, Texas in one of those has got to get swept now. So, that's a little bit much for me. The thing that I saw in the Arkansas series, and we saw it the weekend before, but A&M just couldn't capitalize. They don't have their Friday night guy. They've been begged up. Max Ballou, the Big 12 Player of the Year, is hurt. They think that they can get him back for the SEC tournament. Ty, they're really beat up. And then, you had Galvan, who took 3 foul balls off of his throwing hand. Then all of a sudden you have situations where runners on base, and then they're getting moving. Even if you saw in that Arkansas series the weekend before, I mean, he was even beat up. Then you have Flores at short, who's also had a little shoulder tightness. So do I think that a team can, like Arkansas, LSU, whoever? Yes, I do. Is it going to be a lot? Yeah. I just don't envision Tennessee getting swept. Right, like I don't know if they're going to get swept again. But the thing, because Arkansas did some really damn good things last week against them, I don't know if you're going to be in a situation where that happens to them twice in the final 2 weeks. And if it does, great. But, I think that's a little bit rich for me.
Yeah. Blake, this is Tommy. Who's playing the best baseball in the SEC? I know what the league standings say right now, but, look at a team like Auburn, who's hot, A&M, who's picked it up, Vandy, who's turned it around. I don't think you can just look at the league standings and say, well, Texas is playing the best ball. They just get swept at Arkansas.
Right.
It's an up-and-down season, but who right now is playing, the best? Who's the best 2 or 3 teams right now in the SEC?
Tommy, I got to go with Florida.
All right.
My goodness. I know that they're coming off of what they've done the last couple of weeks. But, look, I do think that Arkansas series turned some things around for them. I know that series was close, but, man, they won, 13 of their last 15 games? Now, I say that, and somebody in the show or in this chat right now is going to say, Blake, they lost to South Florida. What are you talking about in the midweek? Well, Kevin O'Sullivan loses midweeks, and he still finds ways to get to Omaha. If you watch them the last couple of weekends after starting 1-11, my goodness. Now, they had some rotation issues with some guys being out. But Luke Heyman, that whole crew. Now, think about this. their main core of dudes, Ty Evans, Heyman, whoever it is that you want to point out, guys, they faced LSU in the College World Series 2 years ago. That whole freshman group outside of Jack Caglione is back, and they're finally kind of hitting a stride. For me, I don't know if I don't go Florida at the current moment. And then I think Arkansas showed some serious stuff last weekend. Look, on our show tonight, we'll talk about this, but you have 5 of the 9 guys that will be in your lineup that had double-digit home runs. My goodness gracious. I ain't seen that since Gorilla Ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, man, I think it's those two, Tommy, for me. And I know that Arkansas fans are like, well, hey, look, the last month has been up and down, but I don't care. I mean, they're swinging it better than anybody. If I had to pick those two that I don't want to face, and we face one of them this weekend, those would be those two.
Yeah. Anyone other than South Carolina and Missouri, you would say they're not making the tournament right now? We're trying to figure out how many SEC teams get in. I think there's only really 2 right now you can say they're out, and that's the 2 at the very bottom.
Well, Tommy, you're right. I do think 14 of the 16 can get in, because here's the conversation that we're going to have at the end of the season, just hypothetically speaking. Let's take a team like A&M. A&M has beaten Arkansas, LSU, Tennessee. Are we going to leave them out? Mm-hmm. Like, even if they got to 11 conference wins or 12 conference wins, are you really willing to leave them out? I mean, they could go into any regional in the country and win that if they're right. Now, they haven't been, but if they are, they can win any one of them. I just don't know of a team right now, like even Ole Miss. Like, people are like, oh, I don't know about Ole Miss. Man, when they got a lot of seniors. They can really swing it, and if they're hot, they have tons of power. Tommy, I don't want to be SEC homer guy here. It's tough for me to have a justification that if you look at the SEC and say that these teams should be left out, but left out for who? A conference champion in this conference that has an RPI around 90, 95. I think of like Auburn. Everybody thinks, oh, well, Auburn, the middle of the pack. Auburn might be one of the hottest teams in the country. They have the number 1 strength of schedule in the country. They have the number 1 RPI in the country if you do relative based off of the strength of schedule. I mean, my goodness. Like, my question, Tommy, would be, if it's not 14, who are you leaving out at the current moment? And we're talking about, oh, Auburn's just middle of the pack. Nobody in the country wants to face Auburn right now. I'll never forget Jay's postgame that Sunday against Auburn. He's like, well, the record doesn't say what they were, does it? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's right there.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And you talk about Auburn, their RPI right now on the NCAA RPI is at 4. And I'm just looking, you've got to go down to the bottom 2 in the league, to South Carolina and Missouri, to find a team outside the top 40.
Wow.
A&M is at 35. Kentucky's at 41. How do you leave teams? I mean, even Mississippi State, who fired their coach, has an RPI of 33. I mean, I'm with you. You can certainly make a case that 14 of the 16 deserve a seat at the 64 person buffet here.
Without a doubt. And then even Mississippi State, Tommy, to your point, I think would be that fringe team, right? Like, but if they win out and they win a couple games in the tournament, then what?
Yeah. Well,
then they're going to have a serious conversation about who's the interim, what are we going to do with this new head coaching search? I mean, they got a lot of questions that they have to answer. But if y'all remember, I mean, I'm kind of dating myself here, but maybe not too much. But when Andy Cannizaro got fired, what did they do before Lamonis came in? I mean, they made a massive run, right? Like, I mean, this is the most Mississippi State thing of old. Coach gets fired in the middle of the season. All of a sudden, they make a little bit of a run. Come on. But them sweeping Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's not a bad team at all. I mean, Kentucky runs more than anything, and they just took complete momentum from that series from Kentucky.
Blake Ruffino's, I guess, Are You Serious sports host and co-host of the Ruffino and Joe Show here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Blake, let's talk football. 9 SEC games reportedly on the docket. According to The Athletic, it looks like that might end up happening. LSU doesn't have a non-conference opponent rival that they play each and every season like Kentucky and Louisville, Florida and Florida State. Do you think this would be good for the league?
All right, this is a hot topic that we've gotten in on our national college football show. For some teams in the SEC, no, I don't, because look, I am of the belief, Kyle. Last year, I got convinced by people in the quote unquote media or just people that cover the sport, look, and you can have your opinion. I just disagree with it. You try to convince me that South Carolina wasn't as good as Indiana. Like what? Guys, Indiana had Northwestern and Purdue in back-to-back weeks when South Carolina had Alabama and Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that those things are equal. So, Ty, when you talk about a ninth conference game, and I'm not saying the Big Ten is weak at all. I'm not saying that. They won the last 2 national titles. But I do think the bottom of that conference is a little bit weaker. Now, I know it's revenue, and they want to talk about the revenue part of it. But, Ty, if you're doing the ninth conference game, now you're going to have to justify to us or to me where those games are. And if you do that partnership with the Big Ten, and let's just say Texas, who does go to Ohio State this year, and then you add a ninth conference game, let's say they had it this year, they got to go on the road in a fifth game on the road in the conference. I don't agree with that. I really don't. I have been in a minority on that one. People don't agree with me. Get more games, get better games. I understand that. But the problem that I have is when you see teams in the SEC that are getting left out, even Ole Miss, who lost to Kentucky, and Florida at the end of the year, Indiana is not better than them, guys.
Or South Carolina.
I mean, they're not. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't agree with it, Ty, personally. My co-host has yelled at me profusely because of it, but no, I don't necessarily agree with it.
All right, Blake, let me get to the real tough question this morning. Ty's in Baton Rouge this weekend. We're going to send him to Louis for breakfast. Which omelet do you get at Louis?
See, now we're in the heart of crawfish season, Tommy.
It's what I had the only time I've been there. I had that crawfish omelet. It was shrimp and crawfish omelet. It was fire. It was fire.
Yeah, and listen, last weekend we brought, Chris Phillips. He came down. Crawfish are big this time of year now. I mean, Ty, you got to get the crawfish omelet.
You've been to Louis?
I'm just telling you.
I have not.
You have not been to Louis?
I'm looking up the menu right now.
Well, see, and Tommy, here's the thing. I tried to convince him, let's go to Pine Ranch. You want to have a moo-moo in the back with a grandma that's Cajun. You got to go there, too. We got some food we got to eat now.
Yeah. I don't know if he's man enough to eat the whole omelet at Louis, though. That's man's work right there.
I'm pulling up the menu right now.
Those cat head biscuits. Ooh.
Oh, and then they put the butter on the top of it. Oh, see, Tommy, I just lost 100 pounds from the carnivore diet. I can't be going off into Louis like that now. I can't be doing that. My heart's starting to pound.
Yeah.
One weekend won't kill you. Blake, I'll see you.
One meal's good for a whole weekend at Louis.
Sounds like it.
That's true. It also affects my 401k status, too.
There you go. Blake Ruffino, Are You Serious Sports host and also co-host of Ruffino Joe. Blake, appreciate the LSU insight, and we'll see you this weekend in Baton Rouge.
Love talking to you guys, and I'm excited to see you this weekend, Ty. We'll see you then, bud.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.